Shout out to my buddy Pedro, who finally decided in 2025 to jump on and subscribe to the Ham Radio Concepts channel. And in 2025, guys, it's never been easier and feature-rich and affordable to get into ham radio. Pedro was the one that said last week when I was talking to him, bro, I got this Baofeng, the Baofeng, the UV5R, it was cheap. But he has no idea about this. And maybe you don't either, because this brand of radio, and I've showed this in the past, is, I think, the best option for new hams in 2025. Baofeng radios are what started this YouTube channel. I mean, that was my very first video, was the UV5R. But haven't you noticed over the years that Baofeng was popular, that every radio they came out with said it was the new and improved, the Model 2, the Gen 3, and they were the same damn thing in a different case. I could promise you that the TID or TIDRADIO H3 series or H3 Plus, as this is the H3 Plus, is not the same radio in a different case. This is not up for discussion. You need one of these. All right? And by the way, there's Black Friday sales right now up until November 14th, pre-Black Friday sales and more. I'm going to show you online on the website. The links are in the description. Check them out. But guys, listen. I tend to forget in 2025 that there's a lot of people that are still jumping into the hobby, okay? I always automatically assume everybody's got a 7300, everybody's got a ID52 ICOM, but the average person always asks me, including Marcus, another new subscriber, said, what's the best way to get in something that I could use that's practical? Well, this right here features like spectrum analyzer, programming this via Bluetooth from your cell phone. I don't think any Baofeng in the world ever did that. And so many other things. Customizable firmware upgraded firmware uploaded every 2 weeks, or every 2 times a month rather. They update the firmware. So right now I'm on the latest firmware and it's super easy to update. But it's not, let me show you an example. So I have 2 H3 Pluses here and I have 2 H3s here. I also have the H8s, the GMRS ones over there in boxes, and so many more. But there is a difference. This may look the same, okay, but it's not. And let me get into the features on why the TIDRADIO is, I think, the best option in 2025 for a new ham or a seasoned ham. Okay, now listen, both of these right here, okay, and I'll show you the link. The links are in the description, but I'll show you right now on Amazon. Both of these in a kit can go for $75, around $75, that come with 2 complete radios, 2 programming cables, 2 extra length antennas for even added gain, 2 drop-in chargers, 2 programming cables, 2 hand straps, everything for $75. I mean, and Black Friday, it's probably going to be a lot cheaper if they come out with any more sales. But the features of this, so let me zoom in a little bit. All right. The first thing I want to implement here or show you is the Bluetooth programming from the OD Master app. I don't know how many people have had so much frustration over the years with getting other radios like this one here. I mean, we got the Radtel here, right? Uses a whole different programming cable. And then you got the Retivus, and then you got that one over there. Look, I got a Baofeng too. Look, another one. This is the BFFH Pro. But everyone's, relying on a specific program, cable, and software for it. But something like this, you could literally turn the Bluetooth on, open the app, I'll show you that in a second, dial in frequencies, and send it right to the radio from your phone. No programming cable necessary. That's a big thing for me. Also, the addition of what I think is pretty cool, the spectrum analyzer, okay? You have to have the latest firmware, I think over 1.0.37. Let me see what the firmware is of this one. Radio info. Okay, you see the TID H3 Plus. And the firmware is 1.0.42. I just updated it. I'll show you that. That's really easy. Basically, it comes with USB-C cables. It's a 1, 2, 3 thing. Update it. And when they come out with new firmware every couple times a month, there's new features that they fix. They listen to you. The Baofengs over the years were really, oh, yeah, we got it. Well, no. This one right here, let's start from the basics. This radio right here, completely new chipset. Completely new chip with a faster CPU processor. I mean, for instance, this one here used the H3, which is perfectly fine to use, perfectly fine, but you know, you got to update, right? H3 on the left here, like this, right here, was a 30 megahertz clock speed, and the H3 Plus is a 240 megahertz clock speed. So you can tell on some of the radios, they're from China and other manufacturers, when you have to like mash the button and you can't go too fast because the thing ain't going nowhere, right? I've been there before. So 30 megahertz, 240 megahertz. How about internal and external storage? So you're talking about the firmware storage, the storage for additional features, the storage for memories. The H3 had only 56 kilobits or kilobytes and 1 megabyte of external storage. The H3 Plus has 1 megabyte and 128 megabytes. So a lot more room on the chip to add additional features, such as something like a spectrum scope. We'll get to that in a second, okay? That's pretty cool. I don't think there's any Baofeng in the world that has a spectrum scope, all right? Also, you can do other things like, you know, change the color of the menu, background, and they also added text messaging function in the H3 Plus. Now that's only going to be text messaging from radio to radio. So if you have an H3, you can't text an H3 Plus. It's a feature that may not be widely used among hams, but in the situation you want a radio that you can send a text from here to here, okay, that could happen with the H3 Plus, right? And, you know, I get excited, and I try to explain this stuff to you for what? Not the manufacturer. They sent me these things and said, hey, man, you like these things? Check them out. Nobody's paying me nothing, okay? They sent me the radios. Here's the deal, guys. If you want more people to get into the hobby and be excited about this hobby that I've been in for over 20 years, I got licensed in 2004, you got to have something that's exciting to them. Hand a kid something that, I mean, let me give you a great example. This one might hurt some people. This is a Kenwood D7 Alpha right here. Do you remember this radio? Video coming on the nostalgia of this radio. Love the radio. Give this to a kid, they're going to be well away from this hobby in 2025. This is not as fun or as intriguing of a radio for 2025 for a newcomer that's all tech gadget people, as this would be. Does that make sense? So I like having features that will say, hey, dude, really, you should get a license because, look, you don't need to be an expert. You can program this on your app. As soon as you say app on a smartphone, forget it. People are like, oh, that thing connects to my phone? Absolutely. That's my goal, to get more people in the hobby, get them excited about it, right? Okay. Also, they did add some things in the background, like an optimized menu display. I mean, they're trying to make it less clunky. So if you look at the menu here, right? Menu. So this is the H3 and the H3 Plus. You can see this was a one line over here, you know, bandwidth, you know, some things we don't use, a squelch, you know, transmit power. And this one kind of gives you sections, you know what I mean? Like we can go into radio settings and then look at all the radio settings. Or we can go into program channel and set the channel operation, you know, for CT, CSS and such. So they did optimize the menu on this radio. Also, they did add several other languages. I think Spanish, German, Russian, and Turkish on the H3 Plus. If there's somebody that needs those languages, they're in there. Do they matter to you, or will people really need to have those languages? Maybe not, but it shows you they're trying to improve, so that's a good thing. Also, display mode switching. So on this one here, you only really have one way to set it. You know, your frequency here, and then your A and B. Whereas this one, you can customize if you want a single and a classic mode. You know, like I can go radio 15, enter. I can go, you know, dual setup or dual display. Now I can set it like the old one in case you're used to that, you know. Or if you just want a plain Jane single frequency readout, it can be on there too. All right. So one more thing on here, the Bluetooth. Now this one, the H3 also does have Bluetooth, right? But TIDRadio also has a Bluetooth speaker mic, right? Bluetooth PTT on here, right? Goes on your shirt or keep it, you know, hands free. Well, you can do that with this H3 Plus, you can do more than just audio. You can do PTT button mic, you know, a headset. You could, you know, I don't know if you can connect it to your car yet. I mean, I haven't tried that, but a lot of people ask with my ICOM, why can't I connect my radio to my hands-free Bluetooth in my Ford? I don't know. I think it's a radio and that's a car. I mean, you know, cars are designed to connect to phones, not radios. But something like this, the TID speaker mic, wireless battery-powered Bluetooth speaker mic will work with this. And I have it around here, somewhere there's a PTT button, I can't find it, but you can also put the PTT button on your finger if you're on a motorcycle, or if you're on a hiking trip or something, you don't want to have the thing glued to your face, you can have it on your finger, keep the back, you know, the radio clipped to the backpack on your back, and use it that way with a hands-free, you know, earpiece. So I really think that in 2025, let me back this camera up for a second. In 2025, the TID radio, I call it TID radio, people are going to yell at me. The TID radio brand, specifically the H3 Plus, is the way to go. I mean, I used it for years, tell people, hey man, UV5R, cheapest thing. That's cool, they do work. I'm not poo-pooing anybody's radio. I mean, this radio worked too. Look, first of all, look at the size of it, right? Number two, this doesn't program Bluetooth like that. Number three, it doesn't have a spectrum analyzer. So although it's a decent radio for someone that wants to use it, I think this is really an innovating design that keeps going and going and going. And I know I sound like a salesperson, but that's the best way I can tell you honestly. I'm going to show you the Bluetooth app real quick, how easy this is to program this thing. But before you pull your hair out for any reason, you want to make sure if you're going to do this, you go in the menu and go down to Bluetooth, okay? Now in Bluetooth, you want to turn this on, which mine is on, but there's other things in here, you know, Bluetooth mode, Bluetooth pairing, Bluetooth internal mic, or mic gain, speaker, pin code, all that stuff. That has to do with programming devices like this. But as long as it's on, that's all I need to worry about, okay? And then this OD Master app, which I've been using for years on this phone, and it's, well, no, last couple phones, hasn't given me any trouble. A lot of people ask, why do I need to put my email and password in there in order to use this? Well, nobody's hacked me yet. I haven't had anything shut down. I'm not sure why, but just make an account. It's not easy, really. Okay, you can register for the account. Okay, in this app, right? All you have to do, excuse me, go into Bluetooth and pair your Bluetooth. It's going to detect the H3 Plus here. Go to Model, and this does, that's another video I've had. How do you connect to all these? They make an adapter that plugs into the side of a Baofeng or any radio that uses this, where you can put Bluetooth on a traditional radio and program it through this app. Right now we're worried about this one, the TID radio. We're going to choose H3 Plus normal. You can do it with the H3 Plus GMRS or the H8 or some other ones. H3 Plus and read. Look, it's reading from the radio. It's that simple, right? Once you're in here, it will show you the channels. And the cool thing about this is you could use a repeater database to start loading frequencies of repeaters that are local to you. Can't do that on a Baofeng. Right? For instance, if I got a repeater list, check this out. Here's all the repeaters in my area. You want to put this one in? Here you go. Just add this right here. Import. You know, star, star, star. You can add these repeaters in, right? And they'll show you the distance, frequency, offset, and tone. Okay, that's pretty cool. Also, you can manually select, you can go to functions and control your light, your language, timeout timer, Roger beep, which we don't use, turn it off, turn off the Roger beep. Short key and long key programmable buttons, long press, short press, and such, all in here. When you're done, you hit save, right? Save the list, and then hit write. And there it goes. That fast, I just put 4 repeaters into that radio that fast. And the spectrum analyzer, that's a new one from TID Radio. Once you have the latest firmware, you hold number 7. There's your spectrum analyzer, right? Now, that could be useful, maybe, but you can go, up and down and change your frequency, and it gives you your RSSI and dBm, and it shows your frequency. So you could potentially see a spike on here that will show you there's RF activity. Maybe it's a repeater that you didn't know was there. Maybe it's somebody talking on simplex. Maybe you're trying to find noise in your house, whatever. Do you maybe not use this? Fine. Is it there? Awesome. Another function, AM airband receive, not transmit, but receive. A lot of people are interested in a radio that has airband AM receive. Menu, radio setting, go down here to where you see AM band, turn it on. There you go, right? Now, I could type in 126,540, I guess, and you'd have AM airband receive. All right, so that is it. One thing I forgot to notice or mention is I love the, if you look at the S meter up here, some of the Baofangs or older radios, they have a little tiny thing with 3 little lines. And this one's got, a better kind of graph for your RSL, your receive signal strength on the radio. So this radio in itself right here, if you wanted to buy one radio just like this with a charger and antenna, programming cable, you're out like $35, dude, 30 bucks. I mean, that's 40 bucks. If you want to get the double kit that's got everything in it with 2 radios and all these additional bells and whistles, 75 bucks, unless you get a Black Friday super special sale. That's pretty cheap to get into ham radio in 2025, I gotta say. So other than that, thanks TIDRadio for sending these to me. I hope to keep going and seeing the evolution and progress of these radios. And I hope you stick around, because all I'm here to do is to play radio and give you something to watch. If you think any otherwise, please unsubscribe and never watch again. 7-3 everybody, KJ4YZI.